Good day, EDC community, and welcome to my channel. Alright, so it's that time of the year when everyone's taking a break from work, at least here in the Philippines, and it also coincides with the hottest days of the year. It's the summertime here, and everyone's gonna take a break from work, like I said, heading out into the outdoors or just going away from their homes, wherever. And for those of you with your Swiss Army knives, this is a great time to bring them with you. So for intent of this video, I am appealing to those with the same knife as I have. This is the Swiss Army knife WorkChamp, alright? And let me just remind you what you can do with this utility knife. And before I continue, just to be clear, when I say Swiss Army knife, I mean Victorinox. These two are interchangeable, Victorinox being the only manufacturer of Swiss Army knives, at least the only legitimate manufacturer of Swiss Army knives. And yeah, let's proceed. So for those of you who don't have a WorkChamp with you yet, if you find it on the Victorinox website, they are classified under the large Swiss Army knives, but they are not large really in your hands. I have fairly small hands for an Asian. I have small to regular size hands. My hand size or width at least, I have a 3.5 inch wide palm. So this is about my grip. That's also around 8.5 centimeters. And the Swiss Army knife or this Victorinox is around 11 centimeters or under 4.5 inches, and it has a lot of room, at least for my hands. So yeah, this is a very complete tool for me and for those without Swiss Army knife. This model, this WorkChamp, they would agree that this is a really complete tool. So yeah, so going back, we're out on our vacations and we have our Swiss Army knives with us, and you could do really a lot with this. You won't be left wanting with this. Let's start off with the blade. This is 3.1 inch long, or just a little bit over 3 inches, 8 centimeters of a blade, with a liner lock, so it's a locking blade. It's pretty safe when you're doing your tasks. So for any contingency, this knife will help you from cutting paper or to leaves or whatever. If you find yourself out in the outdoors, in the rugged outdoors, or in a cozy hotel or whatever, for whatever use that you would have for a knife, this would really serve you well. All right, so going to the next tool set, we have relatively light duty pliers, for item manipulation, for small DIY tasks, for changing some probably screws or lifting caps, changing batteries, or for whatever kind of menial task that you need to grip on. Oops, sorry about that. You have your pliers with you, and these are really grippy. One way to test the grip strength of a pliers is to try pulling your fingernails with it. If it gives, it's kind of like a torture thing, but you know what I'm saying. If it really tries to pull into your finger or out your fingers out, you have a good grip, and this set of pliers does that. All right. Next tool set is, of course, your trusty flathead screwdriver with bottle cap opener. Of course, when you're outside, you're gonna definitely need the bottle cap and the can opener, as well as two sets of flathead screwdrivers. These are really gonna work well for you, when you're doing your tasks. By the way, the big flathead screwdriver is liner locked. It's juxtaposed or positioned just beside the blade. So this is the other tool that it locks on the outside. Oh, by the way, it has also a wire bender, or a manipulator. So, you could really do a lot with that, some fine work. Right, so if you need to cut something without really needing scissors, a knife, these are your scissors. For its size, they really cut well, all right? And even without cutting anything, you could really feel those two blades slicing or rubbing into each other, which makes for a really nice cut. All right, you could cut anything from paper to fabric again, so you will not be left wanting while you're outside. And what else do we have? Okay, so we'll go to the more outdoorsy thing. If you need to cut something more, I'm sorry again about that, more than the knife would probably the knife could handle. You have a saw here, which is really aggressive. This can cut wood. Wood here in the Philippines is it's very dense, So this thing can cut do real work on wood, which is, like I said, really dense. So you could also cut pieces of PVC. This is good to cut PVC as well. And yeah, you won't be left wanting with this. Files, when you need to file or sand down stuff while you're outside, maybe you need to scrape off some or just make a better finish of, let's say, battery terminals, just in case, just rub or use the file against those battery terminals. I'm talking about the battery terminals on your cars, just in case. The wood saw I already mentioned. Oh yeah, but since I showed you flatheads a while ago, let me show you here the Phillips screwdrivers that we have here. They're accessible by opening the pliers and the scissors. Very intuitive, the pliers being thicker, intuitively wider than the scissors. So they're also positioned, the Phillips are also positioned here. The fatter Phillips, I think this is the 1/2. It's positioned with the pliers, the big pliers, or I mean the pliers, and the small micro or the small Phillips. Yeah, that's right. Phillips screwdriver goes with the scissors. So with the Phillips screwdrivers, you could use them anything from, of course, driving down screws, loose screws, or whatnot. You're always ready for anything. And of course, we have the micro screwdriver. This is also a flathead, good for pieces of jewelry or your eyeglasses, just in case you need to tighten them up. When you're in the outdoors, this can get lost, so just make sure that you know where you put this, and just if you can avoid not to take this out, better. But if you do need to take this out, and I'm talking about the cork that is attached to the screwdriver. The cork screw is also just as helpful. And this is not just a wine bottle opener. This can also drive into pieces of wood where you need to dig into or make holes into something. This is also good for that. And as well as fastening pieces of rope if ever you need to carry stuff. So I'll show the other video that I did that you could use this as a T-handle for carrying load, like so. You tie whatever it is on the other end, and you carry it with the WorkChamp using a corkscrew. And this would work well this also works well with other Swiss Army knives with a similar corkscrew. All right, so let's put this back. Be mindful. All right. Another thing that this thing has is an awl. This is a really sharp and aggressive awl. I mentioned that you could dig holes using the corkscrew, but this one, it makes for a better uh, hole puncher that could cut into wood, even dense fiber wood or even PVC. This is a good punching tool to create holes and stuff. You just punch or dig and scrape it around to make for a really nice hole. It could make a half centimeter wide hole, so good for holes to put ropes or strings through. And of course, we have, with most red scaled Swiss Army knives, we have the tweezers. Tweezers are really good for picking finer stuff, right? Imagine, splinters in the outdoors, or possibly, self grooming when when you find yourself in a more comfortable or cozy place. The toothpick, of course, you could use this more than just a toothpick. This is also good for probing, or creating space, like a how do you call that? It's at the tip of my mind, but you could use this for such. I probably just already typed it already here, what the word I have in mind here, but yeah. And basically, top of my head, or not really top of my head, but these are the rated things that you could use, or the tools that the WorkChamp has, and you could really, your imagination is your limit when it comes to using your WorkChamp for any contingency, either in the rough outdoors or in a staycation place or a resort or whatever. You will never go wanting with this in hand, and you'll always be ready, the designated Boy Scout. All right, so that's it for the Victorinox WorkChamp. I hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up or comments. Leave your comments below. Really appreciate your comments from my other videos. Always wanting to create relevant stuff. And yeah, so that is, like I said, the Victorinox WorkChamp, brought to you by Eric at the Corner. Stay safe and peace out.